The High Court has granted the city of Cape Town an order prohibiting refugees and asylum seekers living in and around the Central Methodist Mission Church from interfering with city officials. Now, hundreds of foreign nationals sought refuge in the church in Cape Town after police forcefully dispersed a sit-in protest in October. Let's get some reaction now from UNHCR Communication Officer Hein Shin, joining us via Skype this evening. Hein, a very good evening and thanks so much for your time. Do you as the UNHCR agree with the High Court ruling?
Well, I'd just like to begin by saying that we've been following the developments in Cape Town very closely since the onset of the protest and really hope that the decision today made by the court will lead in the peaceful and smooth disperse of the refugees who've been protesting for an extensive amount of time.
Well, at this point here, I'd have to ask, and you say you're hoping that this will lead to the peaceful dispersal. I mean, do you really think that's going to happen?
We hope so. We've been involved in discussions with the government as well as the refugees themselves and the NGOs, and we are very hopeful that this decision will, yes, lead to a peaceful disperse.
So the leader of the refugees there in Cape Town says the UNHCR has abandoned them and has failed to protect them. Can you confidently say then that you've done everything possible to resolve this with the refugees, to try and find some sort of compromise or middle ground with them?
Yes, I can. May I start by saying that South Africa is actually a country with its own policies about refugees and a very extensive inclusion system for the refugees. So we have been involved, and the refugees who will need our assistance, they know where to reach us. They have the information. And we would like to add by saying that the protest will not get them the preferable assistance by UNHCR, as well as our partners on the ground.
Okay, and just enlighten us, for those who are not familiar with your role and where it starts and then where the laws in South Africa actually take over. What is your role? How far does it extend in a situation like this?
You mean the role of UNHCR?
Yes, when it comes to refugees and the issues that they've had.
Yes, as you know, the protests have been there for many months now, and we've been involved in very, very detailed and extensive negotiations with the government and all of the stakeholders. And actually, it is the South African government who has the lead in finding a solution, for which we are very much grateful for. And as I said, by protesting or any use of violence will not get a preferable solution for any of the protesters. And may I just add that South Africa already has a policy and system, and there are refugees and asylum seekers who are not protesting, but many of them have their own means of living, they have their work, and the protesting people will not receive any additional or any preferable assistance from UNHCR as well as the government.
So in a way, those who have been protesting, those who have been speaking out, like you said, just to clarify, will not be getting help, which sounds almost like they're being punished for protesting.
No, that's not what I said. Any refugee or asylum seeker with the acute needs will receive assistance from UNHCR as well as our partners on the ground. But I'm just saying, by going violent or staging a sit-in will not get them a favorable chance.
So how do they go about getting the required help from you, whatever it is that they need?
We have our people on the ground. We have a very activating helpline. And also to add that the South African government already has policies and assistance programs and protection in system for any of the refugees. Just to use this opportunity, I know that we are very aware of the false information spread by some of the refugees that by protesting they might be getting an opportunity for resettlement, which is globally unfortunately, a decreasing opportunity for many of the refugees, more than 25 million globally, let me say, and only 4.5 percent of them were be able to be resettled last year. So by protesting or using any forms of violence or going against the law will not get them any preferable opportunities.
Okay, so am I to understand then that those who were not part of the protest but were in this situation, in this living situation that they're in, stand a chance of getting some kind of assistance from you? And what has been your input when it comes to South Africa and what its laws and how it deals with situations like this?
Well, UNHCR South Africa is an advocacy office, let me explain, which means that we provide technical advice, we provide assistance to those with acute needs. When I say that we are an advocacy office, it is because South Africa already has the laws and the capabilities, and this is a country that is signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention and also has its domestic laws and has the capacity to protect the refugees, which it has been doing for many years, which has actually been showing a leadership in the region. So we are active, but we provide assistance to those in the category that may not be reached by the government or has additional and very specific protection needs.
Okay, so this particular situation is out of your hands at the moment?
Not really. We have been involved with a series of discussions with the government, with NGOs, refugees themselves since October, and we've been very much involved since the onset of the protests.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks very much. That's UNHCR's Henshin. They're joining us via Skype from Pretoria.